In this week's episode, Sandy is going to be teaching us about Mercury ingressing Scorpio, Venus ingressing Capricorn. This week is a big week, many transits. And to hear more of this week's transits, tune in to this episode of Astrological Intentions. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the nicest nurse herself, Sandy Reevy. Say hi.
Hi, everybody from Cincinnati, Ohio.
It is episode 171 and November 1st. Let's get right into it. In the transits, we have Tuesday, November 2nd, Mercury square Pluto.
Obsessive thinking?
Wednesday, November 3rd, Mercury out of shadow. And Thursday, November 4th, new moon in Scorpio.
Testy and active.
And sun opposing Uranus.
Something is revealed.
Friday, November 5th, Venus ingress Capricorn.
Put it on the front burner.
And Mercury ingress Scorpio.
Put it on the table.
And Saturday, November 6th, Mercury sextile Venus.
It's tasty.
And Talisman times, Sandy has finished up, includes none. She had a week off. And the upcoming Tuesday, November 2nd, to gather stability in my home. Then on the horizon, we want to share with you our astrology forecast, which is available for download and viewing now, along with our astrology webinar that's coming up and a couple features on the website. And in our house, Sandy and I want to apologize that this podcast is one day late. We want to give you an update on Sandy's brother and my uncle's latest brain surgery. So stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, nicest nurse. My goodness.
Yeah, it was fun being nurse. I got to take care of my brother. He came like literally out of ICU directly to his living room. So I guess we're the step down.
Yeah. I'm sure it's good to be home. So this is episode 171, and we are a day late. I can't even believe it. This is the first time this has really been just overlooked, and I can't believe it.
I can't either. It's quite shocking.
It's quite shocking, but there were just a lot of things up in the air this week. So everybody, apologies that this podcast wasn't ready and waiting for you in your inbox, but here it is. So don't forget, I want more of these going directs where I can announce to everyone the feedback you have, the questions or comments. So send those in to me, alex@intentionbeads.com. So let's move in the transits. We have Tuesday, November 2nd, Mercury square Pluto.
Yeah, obsessive thinking. This is like to have persuasive conversations. It's like today, which is tomorrow on Tuesday, whatever you say, make sure it's really what you mean. And is it because it may be mean or meaningful? So know the difference here, because the word mean is in this context. Your words are sticky. And they can't be removed once they are spoken, once they are said to someone. That thing that you have shot out cannot be retrieved. So it could also be unveiling some details. So kind of I don't know why I want to say this. It's kind of like, do you ever watch anyone as they're speaking, they're like mincing their words, like it's almost like
Like
they're eating.
physically mincing the words.
Yeah, like you can watch them like that. It makes me think that it's like, as things are coming up for you to say, make sure you are getting to the truth or asking about the truth or making sure you're wanting to hear the truth. If you ask somebody a very intrusive question or a question that really gets to the heart of the matter. I mean, we have Mercury here. Mercury wants to express and address and answer and question. And, it's the mental mind.
Mm,
And it's squaring the tensions of Pluto. This is like
right.
intensity, possessiveness, obsessiveness, plowing through something without maybe a lot of thought. So it's again, be careful what, it's that's that old adage, be careful what you wish for. You may just get it. Right.
Right.
What are you wishing for today?
And so Wednesday, November 3rd, Mercury is out of his shadow. So tell us a little bit
Yeah,
more about
yeah,
this.
we just feel that, he's been in shadow since September 7. And here he's out of shadow at 25 degrees of Libra. And so that means that, his next degree I mean, passing through the next degree, because he doesn't stop, is 26 degrees. And he hasn't been to 26 degrees of Libra um, for a year. And so it's now moving into new territory. He's done going through the retrograde cycle, plus the little bit that he had to revisit since September 7th. So, ooh, fresh territory.
Yes, I'm excited for some fresh territory. So, and it's kind of reminding me, considering how cold it is here in Chicago, it's reminding me about like when you wake up and all the snow just fell and there's like not a footstep in any of the snow. It's kind of like that.
Except there's no snow.
Right. But
Or
it's cold
is there?
enough.
I'm
It got cold. It got cold today. So Thursday, November 4th, new moon in Scorpio.
Testy and active is my keywords for this. It's at 12 degrees of Scorpio. So we're hearing now a lot of planets moving into this sign of Scorpio. It just is Scorpio season, right? We had Halloween. We are in, All Saints Day, and then we go to All Souls Day. So this is this Hallowmas period, which is a sacred, unveiling period of the year. And the new moon at 12 Scorpio, which occurs at 4:15 p.m. Uh, Central Time, is another lunation that's conjunct Mars. And not only is Mars conjunct this new moon, it's also the ruler of Scorpio.
Right.
So we have been in a lunation uh, periods, whether it's a new moon or full moon, that has been involved with Mars since August 21. So this has been, new moon Mars, full moon Mars, new moon Mars, full moon Mars, new moon. Like this is like this rotation
Yeah.
of the same thing. And so we really can't get away from him, or he doesn't want us to uh, get away from him until next month during the new moon, when he is away from the new moon placement, which will be into Sagittarius while he's still in Scorpio, and that's called a verse. So he is now out by December 4th, out of these lunations. So there's also and a feeling of being willful and actful,
Hmm.
right, with this Mars. So again, kind of that obsessive thinking and moving into new territory about it being, pushy and pulley, so be careful what goes on here, because the Uranus, as we're going to find out here, the moon is opposing the planet Uranus, and the moon here is in detriment because the moon is in Scorpio, right? Detriment is
Right. But it also could be a really good time to set in course any type of active plan.
well, it's yeah, I call it will enact,
Hmm.
right? And it sounds like, enact, ENACT.
Hmm. Right.
And what I really wrote was will, WILL, the plus sign,
And yeah,
amperstamp,
ampersand.
act,
Right.
right? So will enact, testy and active. So make sure what it is you're doing has it will have your full attention. Make sure it's what you want to do.
Hmm. And same day, we also have another transit, Sun opposing Uranus.
This is by 7 p.m. that night. So just a couple hours later, something is revealed. And this is all secrets or hidden messages are unveiled now. Surprises and agitated waters are disturbing. And why I called it, I got this vision when I was writing this, like this unknown territory and this new discoveries, something is getting stirred.
Mhm.
It's like putting a stir in a cocktail, or if we think about the two planets here, we're putting Uranus, a lightning bolt, electric current into a water source, the sun being in Scorpio, a water, and they're both fixed placement. So it's like Uranus obviously wants to stir, this the surprise and possibly agitated waters.
Okay. Something
Yeah.
to be aware of. So Friday, November 5th has two transits as well. The first, Venus ingress Capricorn.
This happens early in the morning, before I get out of bed. So this is before 6 a.m. And, Venus is the triplicity rulership of Capricorn. And so Venus has, you know, dignity here in Capricorn, particularly for day charts. So for Alex, you and I, who both have day charts,
Mhm.
she'll be checking in on relationship statuses, and you know, you belong where you are. The seriousness about your goals. And this is what I talk about, putting something on the front burner, something that might have been simmering for the last 3 weeks, or while this Mercury was retrograde for the last 3 weeks as well. It's making sure that everything is what you want it to taste like, right? So, do you need to add a little bit of this? You need to add a little bit of spice? Do you need to add a little broth because it is too spicy? But I also want to say that this is the place, this is the sign where she will retrograde, and she'll stay here in the sign of Capricorn until March 7. Now that's 4 months.
That's a very long time. Yeah.
And she's regularly, Venus travels between signs about every 3 to 4 weeks. So say about 3.5 weeks average. She scoots through, but here she like hovers, and she stays in Capricorn. And we'll talk more about that as, she goes into her shadow period. She's not there yet. She'll go into her retrograde cycle. She is not there till mid-December. Then she does her Kazimi as we're all leaving our Mexico retreat on January 8th. And
Mhm.
then she makes her heliacal rise about a week later, when we'll be having that webinar that uh, we have not revealed yet. And then she does her direct, from her retrograde to her direct
Direct motion.
movement. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, oh my gosh, she's about to make a lot of moves, yet she's still in the sign of Capricorn. So anyone who has any planets in Capricorn, a sun, a moon in Capricorn, or Capricorn rising, this is a big, important placement. I know I have one planet in Capricorn. You have a stellium in
I
Capricorn.
do.
Anyone born that early part of 1988, like you were, has the stellium in Capricorn. So this is about Venus checking in on, are you in the situations or relationships? And this doesn't just mean the intimate relationships. It's about, friendships, family ships,
Right.
your ships, all your ships. You're checking in on, did they need a little, they need a little, love, support, a little bit of creativity, a little bit of color, a little bit of artwork, a little bit of,
Right. A little bit of
font.
nursing. A little bit of nursing. Okay, well, and then
We'll
that
talk more
same
about that.
day,
Yeah.
That same day, Mercury ingresses Scorpio.
Yeah, so this is like 12 hours later. This is right around dinner time, about 5:30 p.m. on same day Friday. And, this is now Mercury has less authority in Scorpio than he did in the previous sign where he currently is right now, the last few degrees of Libra. But, there's more emotions. There's emotional depth. So this is deep emotions. Any other ways I can say that? Um,
Emotional depth and
uh,
deep emotion. Got it.
and to release hurt feelings, but to do this appropriately. you know Sometimes any planet that goes into Scorpio really does want to pull out the daggers in the dark and the deep and the scary. I know you love the band Scary Pockets, but I've been wanting to write, scary pockets, like you put your hand in a shoe or a
And you
boot
don't know what's in there.
that you haven't worn, for a couple of years, and you put your foot in and it's like, what is in here?
No.
You can do that with your pockets too. It's like, what do you need to reach into to release something? Do it appropriately, and maybe that's really through therapy sessions. Maybe that's through meditative practices, or just really having that difficult conversation with someone. And
Mhm.
maybe sometimes it's just, sometimes when I think about having a difficult conversation with somebody, it's like, hey, son, or hey, and I laugh at that too when I used to say, hey, Andrew, I need to talk to you. Immediately he goes to, oh my God, mom, what's wrong? What did I do? Is there something wrong? Like, oh my God, I'm sorry. And all I want to know is, what does he want for dinner? Right.
Right, right.
But the fact is but he's a Scorpio rising, so that's again why he can immediately go to that dark shadow place.
Right.
But when you say I'd like to have a conversation, when's a good time we could sit and you know spend time together to have a conversation? That don't immediately think, if someone says that to you, it may be something that obviously they need to get off their chest. So
Right.
you could be saying it simply for a therapeutical reason, that you need to just talk about what's been going on with you. It's not
Right.
anything about them, that you just happen to be in love with them, or they have the what you need, to kind of moderate what's going on with that conversation that you need to have. So, you may want to start saying out like, "Hey man, I've been thinking about something and dealing with something. Do you have an hour or two so I can share my thoughts with you? I think you'd be a really good soundboard for me." That would be a
Right.
really good way to say, instead of saying, "Hey, I need to talk." I,
Right.
you know, so
Don't
something
leave
like,
too much to the disturbing imagination.
right, because now
So
now you wanna put it on the table, and now you wanna, like, what was on the front burner earlier in the day, you wanna now, so maybe literally you get your crock pots out for, because it's, winter months here up in the northern here, and, put something in, turn up the heat, and then put it on the table at the end of the day. It kind of has that, um, this two-way thought process of, put a stew on, or a big pot of chili on, or a big pot of beans on, or something earlier in the day, and then serve it up. That would be another way to
mhm,
use this energy, because it does say with Mercury moving into Scorpio is like, do you need to give yourself timeouts? Like, do you need to prep for something? So what can you do now? What can you do on a front end to get to get the response or the thing you want down the road? It's like arrange to do them in advance.
right.
Yeah, does that make sense? It was kind of a long
Yeah.
thing, but
Well, yeah. And so let's move on to our final transit of the week, Saturday, November 6th. Mercury sextile Venus.
so here, as these, there's a sextile here between the Capricorn Earth sign and the water sign. Earth and water are in sextiles to each other, so they get along well. So they're in a natural balance,
Mhm.
and so now they're relating to one another, and it's tasty. So something can have a nice palatable uh, uh, flavor, maybe, where it's easy to relate, constructive agreements work well. At least try. It reminds me of making easy connections. I'm reminded of my brother Greg, who I'm about to talk to about too, who, he's the one that had to have his tumor removed. I remember when he was just a little kid and we would go to my Aunt Wilma. It's funny because my
Mm-hmm.
mom's name is Delma and my aunt's name is Wilma,
Mm-hmm.
sisters. And we would go to her house for Thanksgiving and she would make this sweet potato. We all have sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving. Put them in with the brown sugar and butter and
Yum.
marshmallows and just all that. I don't know if that's a Cincinnati thing, like Geta, but it's a Cincinnati way we make our sweet potatoes. And my brother thought that looked so icky. And when he was young, under 10 years old, and my aunt offered him 25 cents to try it, to
And
put a scoop on his plate, to try it. And for 25 cents, oh, hell's bells, he's doing it. And
I mean, that was a lot back then.
and he fell in love with it. And it's one of the dishes we can make for him that brings in that hometown flavor.
Yeah, that
He
taste.
would never have tried it, I'm
Mm-hmm.
guessing, at that age if he wasn't, um, you know. So my thought here is to, it's a easy, relatable, constructive agreements. Put something down in exchange for that quarter, or that dollar, or that $10 now if inflation has gone
Right.
that high in
Well,
60 years.
well, when I was growing up, you would either give me like 50 cents or a dollar if I
Yeah.
tried something new. So yeah, inflation was going slow, but it was still an incentive enough.
Yeah. So again, this is Mercury in a sextile to Venus. They're in, Venus has the authority here. She's going to be here for a while. So try some new things that have, again, relatable conversations. Are you picking up a new study of some sort?
Hmm.
Are you doing a couples thing? Is this a couples therapy? Is this couples dancing? Is this couples learning a new language? Something.
Right. Well, that's all of the transits for this week. So let's move into talisman times. You
Let's
had the
remind people of the daylight savings.
Oh,
And
good idea.
yeah,
On Sunday,
so Sunday at 2 o'clock,
we're
we go
falling
in.
back.
Yeah, fall. And it's no more savings. No more we're just in like standard. It sounds so standard. I don't know. We're
Yeah.
going plain old standard. Nothing exciting about that.
Okay, I know. Well, at least
But
there
we
are
shall
some
find
there are some good things.
we shall
Yeah,
find ways. We
getting to bed
trust.
earlier.
Yeah.
So let's move into the talisman times. You had the week off, so we don't have any finished talismans. I will be sharing the talisman of the month, however, which is 222 rather than the 244, and that is to be persistent and content. That link is in the description. And also, let's move into the upcoming talismans that you have to make. And the sole one is Tuesday,
Uh,
November 2nd, to gather stability in my home.
I structure my family, personal life, and home as an honorable and civilized location of warmth. This is what is best for me and you too. That's a question mark. Because we've got here, we're using the Deneb Algeti, and Nina Griffin brought this to my attention. The moon is making a trine to Jupiter, sitting up on the midheaven at exactly 23 degrees of Aquarius, which is Deneb Algeti, which, is increasing prosperity and stability. Um, and, this is the tail of the goat. And Jupiter will get here once. Well, he was here actually 3 times this period, of like this 2021. Jupiter can't get to the 23 degrees, but once every 12 years. And
Mhm.
it was this year he got there, but he was there 3 times on his retrograde cycle. And this is the final one. And this is the final one that was actually able to be at the midheaven while Jupiter was at 23. So yes, this I'll be making a talisman for this to structure family, personal life, and home as an honorable and civilized location of warmth. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. And actually, since my brother's in town, we got to have dinner last night, and he said, he goes, "There's nothing better than getting back home and feeling back home," because, and then, he and my boyfriend's originally from Mexico. So they were able to have that really wonderful conversation of just, that feeling that you get, not necessarily like, oh, I want to move back here because this is my home. It's that nostalgia that you get of just knowing and being comfortable and being confident in your home, your past home.
Mhm.
So,
Which
little
is
side
interesting.
story.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, which is we're gonna talk a little bit more about in our house is that I'm with my brother and you're with yours.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's true.
yeah.
So let's move on to the horizon because I have some announcements to make. The November astrology forecast is ready and waiting for you online. The link is in the description. We also have our cheat sheet available as well for November. And since it's the beginning of November, this is the perfect time to download it. Also, November 10th, we have an astrology webinar that Sandy and Susan will be hosting all about Saturn square Uranus. So that is about um, what can we do where our foundation is going to be changing. So Sandy and Susan are going to be dissecting this, going over if you want to personalize the webinar, don't forget to add that little $5 option when you are checking out. So also we have our constellation bracelet workshop. This is the winter solstice that will be beginning December 4th. The link is in the description. And of course, if you have any questions, you can email me, alex@intentionbeads.com. And my
And also I
final,
want
okay,
and
go
I
ahead.
also want to say about that is the dates are on the website now.
Mhm.
And we will be taking, because some of the ladies were asking me, we are taking a break between Christmas. We are not working. There's no calls, I should say, from December 21st is our last one before the holidays. And then our next one will be after Christmas holiday, after New Year's holiday, and after the retreat. And then we don't get back together until mid-January. And then we finish the first week in February this time. So
Okay.
it's still the 12 calls, of course.
Mhm.
And there are one or two slots still available.
Mm. Yes, it's so much fun. We would love to have you consider it. Check out that link in the description. Also available now, we have our generational malas on the website. These are the ones that me, my mom, and my grandmother all collaborate together to create these really beautiful, colorful, sustainable wooden and clay malas that all have their own intention, all have a very beautiful story behind it. So if you are considering getting either Christmas presents or holiday presents, those I would highly recommend because they're so beautiful and one of a kind. So
And
let's,
they're really affordable. They're under
yes.
$100. They're $77, under
Mhm.
100. And actually, so when we sent out, you had done a beautiful, beautiful job in the marketing and the write up and everything. And so I called my mom as soon as you had sent it out. And I was like, Mom, did you get the email? And she goes, Oh, let me go to my computer right now. And she did. And she's
Mhm.
like reading it as I'm following. And then she's scrolling, scrolling, scrolling. And then all of a sudden she's like, Ah, and she's like, "Oh, you know what? I approve that picture."
Right.
Because there's a really nice picture, very colorful picture of my mom, me, and Alex. And I didn't ask her approval in advance because I thought she would like it, and she approved
She
it
did.
after we
She
sent.
Yes, she post approved it. So let's move into our house. Mom, we're going to make this as quick of an update as possible because I know you're heading back over to take care of your brother. So give us an update. I know a lot of people have actually been reaching out and asking throughout this whole time frame, since originally the surgery was scheduled earlier and then it gets pushed off and pushed back. So it happened. So give us an update.
Yeah, he had the surgery on Wednesday, and it is now, we're recording this on Monday after people were asking, where is it? We were looking like, oh my God, we forgot to record. Oh my God. We've been doing this for over 3 years, three, almost
Yep.
and a half years. And we could go to Bali, we could go anywhere, we could go to Japan, we could go to like and we don't forget to get our podcast in.
Right.
I get down here to my house, my mom's house. I just go into la la land, I guess. It's hard for me to do work here. Again, I go back home, and where I feel like a little girl who wants to eat everything in the pantry. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
And of course with my brother, very, very difficult surgery. I ate everything in the pantry. And then he came home yesterday, kind of quite suddenly, and we were all happy about that. He still has, a lot of recovery to do, but you know, I don't know. The doctors are very, very, very pleased. My brother did not expect it to be as rough as it was. He's in his early 60s, and yeah, he had, it's a neuroma, so we knew it was benign, meaning non-cancerous, but it was a um, auditory neuroma tumor that they told him they'd give him a quarter size. They'd have to remove a quarter size of his skull,
Oh, mhm.
and they removed softball size.
No.
And it cut into his like side, his temple, where he does, where he won't, well, even where the hairline, in front of the hairline. So
Mhm.
that shocked my mom when she saw him. It shocked us all, and he didn't even see it while it was wrapped up. He thought it was a little silver, talking about 25 cents, the quarter thing. It's not. Inflation is taking it up to, it's huge, and my sister in Texas wants to see a picture of it. So I was over there today taking care of him, and he slept in his recliner, kind of upright, off and on slept. And I was there for a while, and we'd have to get him up and walk for a while because he's quite dizzy, and he's got the ringing in his ears, and he's still can't hear very well. But the doctors say once his brain and the inflammation of his brain goes down, that should calm down. And I said, Greg, can I take a picture of your head? Lori wants to see. And he's like, yeah, sure. Like, I don't care. I was like, oh, okay. But I took a nice brush and I just brushed the part of his hair or his skull that, just needed a wake up. And I
Right.
massaged his feet with some beautiful
Oh.
oils and lotions, and just like to wake up other parts of his body to say, he's whole.
Mhm.
It makes me wanna cry right now, but he's doing good. I'm gonna go back over, um, and cook him some food, and my mom's made him potato salad, his favorite, and because he can't,
Mm.
they cut his jaw muscle, and
Ouch.
things they didn't tell him, and he's like, that's the
The
pin the
halo.
parts that they had to put a halo on, they had to drive in the screws into a skull, 4 spots.
Is he
So
still wearing that?
oh, no, 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 no.
Okay.
That came off right after surgery, and
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, they need to keep his head frickin' like,
Very
if I
still.
say still, I say like immobile.
Right.
Yeah. Anyway, but thanks everybody for all the wishes you have, and I forwarded them and discussed that with him, and I really did think he'd see dad, because he said when he woke up, he didn't know where he was. He didn't know if he was here. And when we say here, I'm like, Greg, do you mean Earth? He goes, yeah. Because he said literally he was upside down. His feet were up in the air, and they weren't.
Mhm.
That he thought he was upside down, um, because of what they've done. He had to move his brain. Yeah.
Wow. Well, it is.
Anyway,
It's a
so
blessing. It's a blessing that it all went successfully and the doctors are happy with it. And now it's all about healing. So I'm happy he has an extra nurse at his side that's great at foot massages.
yeah, his wife, Lynn, I mean, what a trooper, man. The dog started throwing up. So she had to go take the dog in to go get x-rays, and another dog had to be split open, up, ate
A
two
lot of
two
surgery.
socks last week and had to have surgery. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much going on here. No wonder we forgot the podcast.
Yes. So that is a wrap at this podcast. Thank you, everybody, for listening. Thank you for your patience in us publishing this and getting it out to you. And until next time, we wish you a really wonderful week of healing and awareness. So thank you, everybody.
Bye. I'd say we wish you a Merry Christmas, because I'm already putting up Christmas decorations for my mom at her house. But we'll wait
Okay.
for
Merry
that.
Christmas.
See you then. Thanks, everybody.
And so you finally know you control where you go.